Hey, brand builder, Rory Vaden here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this interview. As always, it's our honor to provide it to you for free. And wanted to let you know there's no big sales pitch or anything coming at the end. However, if you are someone who is looking to build and monetize your personal brand, we would love to talk to you and get to know you a little bit and hear about some of your dreams and visions and share with you a little bit about what we're up to see if we might be a fit. So if you're interested in a free strategy call with someone from our team, we would love to hear from you. You can do that at brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall, brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall. We hope to talk to you soon.
Well, I loved that conversation with Coach Burt. In fact, I enjoyed it a lot more than I anticipated. Not that I didn't think necessarily I would. I just really, really enjoyed it. And if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. But the whole conversation is around activating your prey drive, like your PREY, prey drive, like the instinctive ability to pursue. And, at first when he was talking about he teaches people how to do that, I was like, well, that's interesting. Like, what's that going to be? And then as he talked out these 5 activators, they're very simple, but very not so obvious. It's like the not so obvious truth and really, really powerful. So I loved it. And part of my inspiration as I look back on that conversation and think about, what have I learned? What did I learn from it? And then also, how am I sort of internalizing that conversation, which is always what we do with these recaps, is thinking about how am I internalizing this? How am I applying it to my own life? And then what would I add to it in terms of clarifying, the message, or just kind of like speaking my own insight into it in my response. And so as Coach was talking, I love just the active nature of everything he's saying, and these 5 activators in terms of overcoming complacency and fear and competition and environment. Really, really good. Really, really good. The thing that I wanted to kind of talk with you about and share with you is a little bit of some of, I guess, the evolution of my motivation in my life, and talking about finding, power and motivation and purpose and how that's evolved for me. And I think early in my career, I was very driven, very ambitious, very focused on this, I would call it prey drive. Like, I don't know that I would have had a word for it before this interview, but I love what Coach is saying is, it's activating this like hunger and this passion for conquering and achieving and pushing yourself to the limits. And I really do think that a lot of champions have that, and they figure out a way to do it. And so there's so much value in it. What's interesting is that once I got to, once I got married, and especially once I had become a father, and maybe just from the result of maturing, hopefully a little bit, or maybe just having a deeper faith walk, I think today, and in the last several years, I would maybe say like maybe probably like the last 10 years. I would say it's the last 10 years. I have really shifted and found my source of power, and my source of motivation from being focused on service. And this didn't come up so much in the conversation. I don't think that it disrupts or dilutes anything that Coach said, but I think it is something in my own life that has been a different level of prey drive for me, of just going, what I do now, what drives me now is not the pursuit of achievement for myself. It is actually finding meaning and value in my life and finding purpose in my life. And, the most powerful part of the whole interview, there were several highlights, but the most powerful part of the whole interview for me was at the very end when he said that his mom had been a nurse her whole life, And she boiled it down to there's three reasons people die. First of all, they run out of money. And so when they run out of money, they can't afford good health care. The second is they run out of love, which, their family forgets about them. And that's sad, or they lose all their friends. That's a really, really sad one. But then the third one, she said, is they run out of purpose and they don't have something to get up and pursue. And that really hit me hard, because that to me is the one that is the most avoidable of these three, right? Like running out of money. Some of that's a matter of how long you live and how much money you saved and how well you saved. And, but money runs out when it runs out, so to speak. And then running out of love, in some ways, I think that's outside of your control. You can't force people to love you, but running out of purpose and having your purpose go extinguished, to me, is heartbreaking. And it is defeating. I can see why that would lead to death, because it's like, why am I living? Living is hard. Living takes work. It's time, it's energy, it's pain, it's setbacks. Like, there's a lot of hard parts of just being alive. But the other part that makes me sad about that is going, not only is that one to me controllable, which is what I'm going to talk to you about, is going, how is it controllable? How does it become controllable in your life to never run out of purpose, to never have your purpose go extinct? That's what we're going to talk about here in this recap, in this little addition. Because I believe there is a way that it would never go extinct. And the other thing is that if you do this, if you have this kind of purpose, you won't run out of love. And I don't think you'll run out of money either. And here's the big light bulb that came on for me, was that anytime I'm in pursuit of achieving things for myself, it's sort of self-centered, right? It's a new title. It's a new, a possession. It's like a title I'm pursuing. It's a trophy. It's something like that, which I don't think at all, nothing wrong with it. It's super valuable, and changed the course of my life. But what I noticed is that every time I would achieve one of those things, it would wear off, and it was like, okay, now I need to push myself to the next level, which, again, I don't think is bad. I think that is something that the world's ultra performers do. I think Coach is spot on. And I think, we have had the privilege of coaching 4 billionaires, by the way. I've personally worked with 4 billionaires in the last 18 months. And so I've been around a lot of these people, and they do have a tremendous drive. But whatever the thing is, it's like you need a new thing. You need a new goal. You need a new destination. You need a new target. You need a new timeline. You need a new title. You need a new thing to go after, to chase, to pursue, to sort of keep that going, which I don't think is bad or wrong, or even unhealthy. But the thing that I have found that I can pursue, that never goes away, that never becomes extinct, that never loses its power, that never disappears, never dissipates, never dilutes, it never disappears, is serving other people, helping other people. And I don't just mean this in like an altruistic sense or like some type of a spiritual sense. I also mean it in a literal, scientific, practical, pragmatic, even a self-centered sense. You could even take it as far as that, to go that when I am focused on serving other people, it gives me something to pursue that never goes away. It gives me something that it's a destination that I never fully reach, and it's a flame that never burns out. And the reason this is powerful is because it gives our life meaning. if I am just achieving for myself, if I'm just pursuing for myself, if I'm just conquering for myself, if I'm just acquiring for myself, there's nothing bad or wrong with that. But what I've noticed is it doesn't have the same level of meaning that if I am dedicating my life in the service of other people. Because our lives have meaning in the context of other people. If I'm pursuing a goal, my life has, meaning in the context of that goal. But when that goal is achieved or not achieved, the meaning sort of is attached to it. But when I am serving another person or focused on serving people, my life always has meaning. Why? Because there's never an end. There's always people who need help. So when she said people die because they run out of purpose, that's terrifying and heartbreaking and sad and unnecessary. Because if your purpose is caught up in serving other people, you'll never run out of purpose. Because there's always somebody who's out there who needs your help. There's always somebody who's hurting. There's always someone who's broken. There's always somebody who's going through pain. There's somebody who's in a setback. There's somebody who is the middle of devastation and crisis and temptation and indulgence and just pain. There's always somebody out there, or a struggle, or somebody who is trying to achieve something, but there's always somebody there. And so I should never run out of purpose, because there's never a finish line to the needs of this world that other people have. And I think that one of the things that we do that I would say is wrong is people go searching for the pursuit of happiness, and they go searching for things and, material possessions and titles and relationships and, job positions and homes and vacations and whatever. We go in pursuit of these things that we think will bring us happiness. And again, there's not anything wrong with those things. The part that I think is wrong is I think that we're wrong about where happiness comes from. I think what we're mistaken about is about what actually brings true happiness, true joy, true satisfaction, true fulfillment, true peace, and true power. What brings those things is not acquiring, it's not achieving, it's serving, it's helping, it's adding value. In other words, don't ask what is my purpose, ask who can I serve, right? Don't ask what should my next goal be? Ask, how can I be of value to somebody? How can I contribute to their life? How can I make their life better? And what is amazing about that is it is this infinite and invincible form of power. Because when I am achieving, there are wins and there are losses. But when I am serving, there are only wins. There are only wins. You cannot lose when you're serving someone else, and they cannot beat you, right? Like if I'm in a competition, someone can beat me. And again, I think competition, I don't want to think competition is not bad. I think everything that coach is talking about, I'd say like, amen, exclamation point. I'd punctuate it. Yes, these things are true. I've done these things. I agree. These are characteristics of high performers. And I think there's super valuable power in activating and understanding your own prey drive. And then there's also, I think, a power in activating this purpose drive, this never-ending desire to contribute to humanity. And I think the people who really change the world are the ones who contribute value to other people, not just the ones who achieve or accumulate or accomplish a lot, but they're the people who help a lot. They improve the lives of other people a lot. Don't ask, what is my purpose? Ask, who can I serve? Don't go searching for happiness. Go searching for someone to help. If you go searching for someone to help and you help them, you'll find happiness. There's nothing like the feeling you get when you help somebody else succeed. There's nothing like the feeling you get when you contribute to somebody else's success. There's nothing like the feeling you get when you add value to somebody's life, when you help them, when you get to have a small part in their success or their survival or their safety. You have a deep sense of purpose, a deep sense of value in your life, because your life is occurring in the context of other people versus your life occurring in the context of serving yourself and just accumulating or achieving or amassing more things for yourself. Not bad, not wrong. I think what is wrong is we're wrong about where we think happiness will come from. I've achieved enough, I've accomplished enough impossible goals, as I teach in our Conquering Impossible Goals course, which is based on our Take the Stairs book. And there is this energy of that it takes to achieve a huge goal. That's why it's beautiful, and that's why it's helpful, and it inspires other people. And you often help other people as a byproduct. Like, being in your own greatness often inspires greatness around you. And so there is a beautiful byproduct to accomplishing things that are beyond your own wildest imagination, which is that the people around you become inspired by watching, and they start to believe that they're capable of things themselves. So there's a lot of value in that way as well to achieving. But, in addition to that, or as a clarification or a sharpening of that, is realizing that happiness doesn't come from those achievements. I mean, I can literally go pull out in our storage, I've got trophies of a New York Times bestselling author and being a Hall of Fame speaker and becoming the world champion of public speaking, first runner up, and valedictorian, and getting my MBA when I was 23. Like, I have all of these trophies and plaques and titles and things, and they literally sit in storage, right? Because they don't give meaning to my life anymore. But you never run out of meaning when you're serving people. You never run out of purpose when you're helping other people. When his mom said, which was so profound, that people die because they run out of purpose. They should never run out of purpose, because you only run out of purpose if you're self-centered. You never run out of purpose if you're service-centered. And this is such a big lesson for personal brands specifically, or for leaders specifically, or for entrepreneurs specifically, because we have the good fortune and the blessing of not having to be worried about our survival. We have the good fortune and blessing of most of us having achieved some level of success. And so it's like we're moving from survival to success to significance. It's this journey, this transformation that we're on, and we go, oh, how do I get to significance? I get to significance not by being more successful. I get to significance by being more service-minded. That's how I get to significance. I get to significance, meaning I'm having longer-term impact, longer-term sustainability to my motivation, a longer-term evidence of my life and my work mattered, not because of what I achieved or amassed or accumulated for myself, but because of the value and the contribution that I made in the lives of other people. And that is a life that is worth living, which means it's a life that is not worth killing and not worth dying, because you always have something else to do. You've got somebody else to serve. You've got somebody else to help, and somebody else to save, and somebody else to help succeed, and somebody else to mentor and coach. And so for me, I think I have ended up finding I have found my purpose in the power of service. I find my purpose in the power of service. And I think achievement is good, conquering is good, prey drive is good, amassing, accumulating. I think these are good things, because they often empower you to be able to be in a position to serve other people, right? Like, you can't, you put on your mask first before you're helping others around you. But you should never run out of purpose, because you're never run out of people to serve. And it reminds me, when he said, that this idea of count your days, That's actually that's based on scripture. Okay, so this is, I don't, regardless of if you're a Christian or not, but like if you read the Bible in the ancient text in Psalms, it's Psalms 90. I looked it up. I didn't have it memorized, but I knew it was in there, and so I looked it up. So in Psalm chapter 90, verse 12, it says, "Teach us to number our days, so that we may apply our hearts to wisdom." Teach us to number our days so that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. That's exactly what Coach Burt was talking about, right? As he was going, man, when you realize that there's a clock counting down on your life and you just are aware of that fact of, gosh, there's a limited time I've got here. It creates a tremendous sense of urgency, right? And that's how I feel. I don't let 1 second of my day go by accidentally. Even if I'm sitting on the couch doing nothing, I'm deliberately sitting on the couch doing nothing because I'm rejuvenating, right? Or I'm rewarding myself with something. Nothing in my life is accidental. Nothing is unintentional. Like every single second. And it is, I've always felt this extraordinary urgency on my life, not because I'm desperate to achieve and accumulate and have more, although I've had big goals and I came from very, very little, and we've accumulated a whole lot more than I ever imagined, and certainly more than we need, like for our survival. But like even with that, there's this tremendous sense of urgency because I know there's somebody out there who needs help. And that's what I want you to think about. And that's the power of numbering our days. And I love that Coach brought that up, and then, seeing that referenced directly also in scripture. And of the 5 that he shared, the 5 activators of Pray Drive, again, I loved it. So go listen to the whole interview. But the 5th one was the one that hit me the hardest, which was about embarrassment, because it ties into everything we're talking about here. And when I think about purpose, right? After I die, I don't want to get to the end of my life and meet the person that I could have been and be disappointed. Right? I would be embarrassed by that. I would be embarrassed getting to the end of my life and then being able to see like, oh, this was everything I was capable of. And this is, this is what I was capable of. These are the blessings that I've been given, the time I had been given, the relationships, the skills, the access to different things. This was everything I was capable of. And I fell so far short of that because I was lazy or complacent or distracted, or I was indulgent, and going, I'd be so embarrassed. I'd be so disappointed. But beyond that, it's not just me, right? It's going, I don't want to get to the end of my life and be able to look back and see all the people that I could have helped. See all the people that I could have made a difference with. See all the lives that I might have helped transform or even just shape a little bit. To see everybody that I could have helped along in their journey. And at some point get to the end of my life and see all these people lined up on a wall and go, look at all the people I missed because I was indulgent. Look at all the people I missed because I was lazy. Look at all the people I missed because I had too much pride, or because I was scared, or because I was distracted. That would be so heartbreaking. And most of all, at least for me, I don't want to get to the end of my life and meet my Creator and say, here's what I've done with what you've given me, and be embarrassed about that report. Right? I've been given so many blessings. We all have, all of us. If you are listening to this, you have blessings in your life. If nothing other than the blessing to have access to listen to this type of information from wherever you are, which is an incredible blessing, just to have access to, these types of trainings for free and for so many different people, right? We all have blessings. And I would hate to show up for my final report and say, here's what you've given me, and here's what I've done with it, and here's what I'm capable of, and there's a giant gap. I'd be embarrassed about that. I'd be scared about that. I wouldn't feel proud about that. And so whenever I die, however I die, in whatever way that I die, I want to know that up until the very last possible moment that I was physically or mentally able, that every single last waking breath that I could possibly muster up, I was working in the pursuit of serving humanity, of helping humanity, of making a difference, of making an impact on other people, of serving those people who are in a struggle, and helping those people who are in difficult and challenging circumstances to conquer them, and helping people who are facing obstacles to overcome them, and to go with every moment I had. And so, because at least then, if I didn't live up to my capacity, at least I can say I did everything I could, right? Like I took advantage of every single second, serving the people around me in the best way I knew how. So I can at least come with a final report to go, I may have not lived up to my potential, but I did everything I could. Like I did the best I knew how to do with what I had. And I helped every single person that I could, fathom within my abilities to try to help. But I know I never ran out of purpose. I ran out of life before I ran out of purpose, right? I didn't run out of purpose, and that caused me to run out of life. That's not going to be it. That's not going to be me. That's not how I'm going down. And maybe for you, it's the same. So be competitive. Activate your prey drive. Listen to that interview with Coach Burt. Send him some love on social. Let him know that you heard him here on our podcast. Share this episode and the interview with somebody that you think it can help. Activate your prey drive to go out and pursue. And these are, I think, can be very similar messages. Is the instinctive ability to pursue service. Right? For me, that is where the power is in these days. I have found my purpose in the power of service. But conquer and win and challenge and accumulate and amass and achieve and push yourself to the limits and become a champion, and also serve others and help others. And don't get lost searching for happiness and achievement. Realize that happiness comes from service. Don't ask, what's my purpose? Ask, who can I serve? Thanks for letting me serve you. Thanks, you keep coming back, giving us this blessing and privilege. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll catch you next time on the Influential Personal Brand Podcast.